Hey, how's it going? It's Francesco on Eternal. Today I want to go over this brief video on social media and why it's so important that your business really takes advantage of this new trend that's going on for the past couple of years and why really can't have a successful business without social media. So what are we going to cover in this video? We'll be covering the impact of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Snapchat. Those are the big five. I found that those are the biggest players in the game right now. And if you notice that Facebook owns Instagram, so Facebook has 2/5 of this marketplace. So that's just something to note. So the impacts of social media. In 2005, 10% of people in America or in the United States had a social media account. In 2015, that went up to 76%. So we can see in the coming years, we'll be getting closer to 100%, probably around 80, 90%. So people are on social media all the time. It is the next television. Many years ago, people were on watching TV all the time in the 80s and 90s. Then before that, there was a radio. We have right now, social media is what everyone is looking at. Okay, people, and this is, I'm not trying to be rude to anyone, but people like to waste time and buy stuff. I mean, think about how many people spend time on Facebook and Twitter. They spend hours upon hours on their phones, on Facebook and Twitter. So we really want to capitalize on that, okay? And we can do that by showing them ads. And they love to buy stuff. People who are on social media all the time, they always buy stuff. It's a billion-dollar marketplace. Just people make so much money from using Facebook ads to sell things. So it's really important that you base your business around social media, because if you're not, you're gonna miss out on this huge thing that's going on right now. It's one of the biggest, in my opinion, I think it's one of the biggest shifts. You go from radio to TV, then you go from TV to social media. Everyone's using social media, you know what I mean? So let's go over Facebook. Facebook is the largest social media in the world. It had at 1.1 billion users online at one time. That's 1 million people times 1,000. Okay, that is a lot of people. So that just shows you, right, how big of an audience it is. Okay, like if you were to put it on the scale of like a country, it'd be like one of the biggest countries in the world. It'd be bigger, like 3 times the size of the U.S. So that just gives us so many people to sell to, and that really just allows us to just reach a broad audience and a very targeted audience as well. And we can really just sell anything to anyone. I mean, if we wanted to sell something like very niche oriented, we could probably find an audience for that on Facebook, but just because there's so many people on there, you know what I mean? So I mean, that's just something to take into account. Facebook is huge, and it's just one of the biggest social medias out there. So if you're not taking advantage of Facebook, I highly recommend you do, whether that be in the form of fan pages, ads, whatever. Just make sure you're on Facebook. Next is Twitter. Twitter is great for building a following. It's a big source for young audience. There's a lot of young people on Twitter. It's a very millennial type service. It's very mobile oriented too, so a lot of people, it's very it's young people on their phones, they go on Twitter, and that's something that you got to really take into account when it comes to advertising on Twitter. We're targeting more of a young based audience, and it's just great for building a following. People love to stay up to date with Twitter, and I think Snapchat is kind of overtaking Twitter now because of the fact that Snapchat is more video oriented, and I think it's just more easier to watch something than to read someone's tweets. So I think Twitter will be overtaken by Snapchat in popularity very soon, just for the fact that it's Snapchat's growing really fast right now. So the next one is Instagram. Instagram is great for sharing pictures. If you have a baking company, if you have a fitness company, if you have whatever kind of company you have, it's great for sharing pictures. So start posting on there. Start liking other people's pictures that are related to what you're doing. Just start to grow a fan base on there. You can also run ads on Instagram via Facebook, which is awesome. It's good for building a following, and like I said, it's great for the fitness niche. There's a lot of people who make a ton of money just by posting on Twitter, or not Twitter, on Instagram, just by giving Instagram shout-outs. So it's crazy the amount of money you can make from that. You could essentially build a huge following and just have people pay you to make shout-outs for them on your page. It's kind of like having an email list, so it's really powerful. Next is, and one more thing, like I said, Facebook and Instagram are basically the same company owns them. So Facebook really has a huge stake. I could see Facebook trying to buy Snapchat really soon for an absorbent amount of money. Pinterest. All right, so Pinterest is great for female audiences. There are tons of female audiences on Pinterest. They have more spending power than Facebook, so what that means is if you were to advertise 2 products on Facebook or Pinterest, you could probably charge more on Pinterest, and they're more likely to buy, spend more money on Pinterest. That was a study that was done. The average order was like $40 on Facebook, $60 on Pinterest, so they have more money to spend on Pinterest. And it's great for sharing images. So I mean, like even with when you advertise via keywords on Pinterest, right? And essentially what that is so if someone types in ladybug earring, you can make an ad that targets people who search that. So it's very targeted in the fact that you can have it down to the keyword. So if someone's looking for something, you can put that ad in front of them. Versus Facebook is just targeting interests. So they might not be looking for that particular item at that time. So like I said, it's just great for female audiences. It's great for sharing images, and people have more spending power on there. And the lastly is my favorite, which is Snapchat. Snapchat is very, very powerful. You're able to build a huge following, and it's almost as powerful or more powerful than an email list, because people can go on there, they'll be looking at your videos, they'll be following you constantly. You can post videos on there, and they go away after a day, but people just like to view them and keep up to date with what you're doing. All the huge players are using it. So if you haven't adopted Snapchat yet, what I would recommend you do is create a Snapchat and then email your list and say, hey, follow me on Snapchat. And you can offer an incentive to do that. But essentially what you're doing is that people are more likely to view your Snapchat than to view your email. That's what it's come down to now. So that's basically it. That's just a brief overview of social media and why you need to have it in your business. If you don't have it, you're missing out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Snapchat. Those are the big 5. There are other ones, but they're not as big. And I don't see them going away anytime soon, like MySpace. I think Facebook will be here for a while because they're able to really buy. They had Facebook, then they bought Instagram. Instagram had a huge audience of females and just young people, and that's really what they wanted to do. I could see them, like I said, buying Snapchat soon. I could definitely see them buying Snapchat soon. I think that would be a great move on their part, just for the fact that Snapchat is growing so fast. Now, what they'll pay for it, I don't know. It probably costs billions of dollars to buy it, but they just have a huge audience base, and I think that it would be wise for Facebook to acquire them. So regardless of if Facebook buys Snapchat or not, or whatever, just make sure you are on all 5 of these and you are using them to your capacity, the most capacity that you can, because they are free at the end of the day, so you don't have to pay for them. So you can make a lot of money via a free traffic method if you can grow a following on there. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Have a great day.